Hey there, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you're watching this from. And it's going to be a small talk on messes. So, I believe in our day to day lives, we have a lot of times where we are caught up in these problems, caught up in these certain situations, and caught up with a lot of stuff that we have to do for the day while dealing with those, troublesome emotions and troublesome thoughts that we have on a day to day basis. And it can get overwhelming, it can get really nerve wracking and fill you up with anxiety knowing that you have stuff to do on your plate, but knowing that you also have this problem on the side that you have to deal with that is still unresolved, and you still can't wrap your head around the solution to it. And it's really, it's really daunting, really perplexing, as I've mentioned, and overwhelming because you're trying to figure out all of the solutions to these problems, and the more you try to pile it up, or the more you try to rather, you know, think of various solutions uh, at the same time to all of those problems that you have in front of you. Instead of taking it one step at a time, it's gonna clutter up the mess and make it even a bigger mess than it was initially, which will give you rather half-baked solutions to each problem that won't really solve it or resolve it, but rather just keep it at bay, or to mitigate it rather, instead of completely eliminating the problem altogether. So yeah, really it's a really stressful mindset to have, especially when you're have a lot of stuff on your plate and you're trying to get things done as fast and efficiently as possible. But what I figured is that in a reality where we glorify and we praise, being able to do a lot of things or a multitude of things in a very fast and efficient time, we sometimes overlook the notion or the strategy of rather than piling up all of these things that you got to do, it's best if you rather take take it one step at a time, you know, because that way I believe it's way more efficient than jumbling up stuff that that needs to be done on your list. You're trying to tick it off all at the same time, it's not going to really work. But then again, I'm speaking from my own perspective, being as someone who's not really good at multitasking. So yeah, but if it works for you, then yeah, I mean, all power to you, more power to you. Give it your all and keep going at it. But if you're someone like me and you're struggling with trying to multitask a lot of stuff that you have to do for the day, I figured just taking it one step at a time, you know, taking it, one task, one checklist at a time. It really helps because it helps you with organizing what you have to do, focusing on what needs to be done now, and not focusing on a lot of things, and coming up with a solution that can fix the problem that's in front of you right now, or fix the thing that you need to get done on your checklist right now, in the best possible way that you can think about. Yes, it may be a little more time consuming, it may be a little more uh, you know stressful in a sense, because you're gonna have that nagging thought at the back of your head saying that you still have all of these things to do, get to it now. But it really helps with uh, just finding a proper 100% surefire solution, or strategy to tackle that specific task that you have. And it requires patience, not gonna lie. It's gonna be tedious, it's gonna be annoying, you know just seeing that you have 24 hours in a day and you have all these other things to do, plus the checklist that you got to do. So yeah, it's gonna be tedious, it's gonna be stressful, it's gonna be getting you all sorts of, you know, overwhelming feelings and doubts whether you're gonna make it work or not. But I feel like, yeah, just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, can clear out all of that mess that's in your head and help you achieve things at a slow and steady pace, but more efficient way. Because you get things done better, and more often than not, we tend to think more clearly or plan more clearly or strategize better when our mind is cleared and focused on one thing only instead of focusing on a billion things altogether. You know, this advice normally just applies in life in general. I can't say for workplace or offices or your job because sorry, because it might demand you to work on a lot of things at the same time. But just keep that in mind when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling, very stressed and very busy with a lot of stuff that you have to do, is that you can take it one step, one task, one problem at a time. There's no need to rush anything because, speaking from experience, when you're rushing something, it it makes the outcome half half baked and or rather decent or completely horrible. So those are the outcomes that I've experienced myself when trying to jumble a lot of things at the same time and focusing on different things instead of honing in and being tunnel vision to one specific task, getting that done, moving on to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. It's kind of like as well with living, you know, uh, you take it one day at a time, one day, 1 hour, 1 month, 1 year at a time. You don't jumble a lot of things that you have to do for the year in one day or 1 month or pre-plan extensively ahead because that's not going to work. I mean, you're not going to be able to predict a lot of things that's going to happen throughout the year. Things might change, your perceptions of things might change, your mindset itself might change. You're growing, right? We all are growing. So whatever it is that you planned previously, like way in advance, might not be the plan that you want to pursue, like in a couple months later, leading up to that deadline that you've set for yourself. So I guess it is true what they say. It's best to just take life, your task, uh, your your checklist, your agendas, your schedules, one at a time. Gives you more time to think, gives you more time to properly strategize, get everything properly organized, and deal with it the most efficient way possible that you see fit, and ultimately brings out the best outcome for you, which is all any of us can ever hope for. So yeah, that's all for this talk, guys. It's a pretty shorter one compared to my previous talks, but yeah, just wanted to get that message out there. You don't need to rush. You don't need to be this multitasking machine if you aren't. But if you are, that's great. All power to you. Once again, keep going at it. But if you aren't, you can just take one thing at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time. Eventually, all of us have our own perspective. All of us have our own ways of working, and all of us pursue plans and strategies that work for us because that's how we eventually get the best outcome we can hope for, right? So yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for listening, guys. Hope you have a great day ahead. Bye bye.